gather around the table once again for another session of Dungeons and Drakfus. Now, even though we're technically not done with the patch 4.2 content, we're going to continue to move on this week as we tackle patch 4.3, Hour of Twilight. So, like I said, we spent a lot of time in the Firelands, roughly about 6+ months worth, and then eventually patch 4.3 happened, which is basically the moment we tried so hard to prevent in Cataclysm. The Hour of Twilight is upon us, and in order for us to succeed, we're going to need a very powerful old weapon by means of the Dragon Soul, otherwise known as the Demon Soul. Now, before we can actually take care of this, there actually isn't like a daily hub or a set of quests that you could do for it, except in 3 5-man dungeons that were implemented into patch 4.3 to help assist with the story of the raid. And today we're actually going to take on the first of these 3 as we venture into an alternate future of Azeroth known as End Time. And as you can already see, it's kind of a grim picture if that's what it's supposed to look like in there. So let's go ahead and load it up, and we'll see how bad it looks. Yep, that's pretty nasty. So you can see that Nosdormu is here, but basically the way that this instance works is that this is what would happen if the Hour of Twilight were to succeed. So for those who don't understand what the Hour of Twilight is, this would be basically the moment where the old gods would rise out of their prisons and be able to retake the world. And also, through some means, sacrificing Deathwing in the process, because that's his corpse over Wormrest Temple. That's actually a pretty daunting sight if you think about it. But let's go ahead and go into the lore before we talk to Nosdormu. So this is the lore for End Time. One of an infinite number of potential outcomes, this time way depicts the desolate future of Azeroth should Deathwing fail to be stopped. Nosdormu has identified a powerful anomaly that exists in this moment and bars access to the past, and hope of retrieving the Demon Soul. The powerful creature from out of time lives alone amidst the time-twisted echoes of the past. And so that's kind of the plan, is that we're going to go back in time to retrieve the Dragon Soul before it became the Demon Soul. And so at that point, we actually would have a majority of the powers of the aspects that were donated within it. But we need to get there first, and End Time is blocking our way. So let's go ahead and talk to Nosdormu.
All that matters is this moment.
We must not waste time, traveler. So Murazond. If we are to destroy Deathwing, we will need the power of the Dragon Soul. To obtain the Dragon Soul, I would have to take you back to the Sundering, 10,000 years into the past. But that time passage is blocked to me. The creature that blocks us from accessing this time passage is named Murazond. He must be slain here in this twisted future before we can continue our plot to unmake Deathwing. This is why you were brought here, Drakfu. Okay, so, and then also we can take a quest from Allure Me.
Hello.
Let's go ahead and do that. And greetings, Drakfu. So, archival purposes. From what I understand, you intend to avoid this future. If this is true, then we must archive data from this time strand before it is lost to us. We believe that the most interesting and valuable elements of this future are the powerful echoes that roam the dragon shrines. Take this vessel with you. As you silence these echoes, a portion of their energies will be archived within the Bronze Dragonflight's depository.
Be careful.
Okay. So what he's basically talking about is, in order for us to move on to Murazond, who is currently in the Bronze Dragon Shrine, or at least what's left of it, there are 4 echoes of the past that are in each of these dragon shrines, and we actually need to take them on. So before I reveal them, the rest of them, we're going to take on 2 of them, because that's all you need to do. You need to take out 2 of them, and then you can move on to Murazond. So all you got to do is go over to this time transit device, and it looks like we're going to the Ruby Dragon Shrine first. And as you can see, it's...
And this is where she fell. The time-lost echo of Sylvanas Windrunner will reverberate through the rotting limbs of the Dragon Shrine for all eternity. You must give peace to these lands if you are to face Murazond.
So yeah, this is what remains of the Ruby Dragon Shrine in End Time. And it has an Echo Guardian, and in this case, it is the Echo of Sylvanas Windrunner. So you could tell, like, there's a bunch of these time-twisted Scourge Beasts that Sylvanas probably brought to the fight. We're going to bypass a lot of them, but here is Sylvanas' Echo, so we'll go ahead and take care of her. It's actually not too hard to do.
Another band of Deathwing's converts? I'll be sure your death is especially painful. This isn't
There you go.
how it's supposed to end.
And let's go ahead and grab the information for the Echo, or for the archive. And then also let's go ahead and go into the lore of the Echo of Sylvanas. Spawned from shattered timeways and cloistered within the Ruby Dragon Shrine, a maddened fragment of the forsaken leader, Sylvanas Windrunner, waits restlessly. Having lost everything and unable to find peace, this tormented Echo aches for a chance to unleash her dark fury at anything still living within these barren, time-twisted wastes. And let's go ahead and find out who else is there. And as soon as we take care of that one, I'll go ahead and tell you the other two. It looks like we're going to the Azure Dragon Shrine next.
This is all that is left of the Blue Dragon Shrine. A great battle shattered the timeways, leading out of this forsaken place. You must reconstruct the fragments strewn across the ground and defeat the trapped spirit to proceed.
Okay, so we need to get all these fragments. And in order for us to be able to do that properly, we are going to have to go through some echoes of what looks like Stormwind guards. So let's go ahead and make our way through them. There we go. Not going to worry too much about looting right now, because I don't think we'll have too much of a problem. Let's see, we're at 5 out of 16 fragments that you need to gather. Okay. Go ahead and grab this one. I'm going to try and take care of as many of these without having to pull trash packs as possible. Okay, halfway there, 8 out of 16. Now, I know which Echo is actually here, but I'm going to go ahead and let the reveal happen on its own. So we should know after we assemble whatever this was. 10 out of 16. So only 6 left. 5. I meant 5. Okay, we can get away from that. 4. 3. Yeah, I don't see a way around it, so. There we go. We'll kill this trash bag. 2. There's 1. Where's our last one? Ah, it was way out there. I'll admit, this is one of the things that annoys the crap out of me about this trial, is that you can never keep track of the fragments. It was all the way back here. We could have gotten it then. Ah! Oh well. Turn it in.
I don't know who you are, but I'll defend this shrine with my life. Leave. Now. Before we come to blows.
So it's the Echo of Jaina Proudmoore. So she now haunts the Azure Dragon Shrine. Kind of appropriate considering she's a mage.
Now. Farewell. And good luck.
Grab that. Boom. Now, we could technically go and defeat Murazan, but let's go ahead and go over the lore of Jaina. The tormented fragment of Jaina Proudmoore has been split and infused within the shattered pieces of her staff. To restore balance to the timeways, this Echo must be defeated. However, the devastating magical power possessed by the once proud ruler of Theramore is hardly lost to her time-havocked specter. In this future Azeroth, she is only divided and waiting. Now, the other two, we're going to go ahead and go over those really quick. And first off, you can come across the Echo of Bane Bloodhoof in the Obsidian Dragon Shrine. Enraged by his failure to protect the world and most importantly the Horde, this time-ravaged shade of Bane Bloodhoof lingers within the ruins of the Obsidian Dragon Shrine. Although he's still as powerful as the Tauren High Chieftain from the present, within this shattered future of Azeroth, this guilt-ridden echo is little more than a discordant vessel of unquenchable malice and anger. And then finally, if you go to the Emerald Dragon Shrine, which a lot of people get a lot of the time, is the echo of Tyrande Whisperwind. Once the leader of the Night Elves and High Priestess of Elune, this time-twisted fragment of Tyrande Whisperwind now wanders the wastes of the desolate future of Azeroth, enveloped in a perpetual midnight. She has all but lost sight of the comforting light of Elune. And so those are the 4 that you can actually come across, and it's just random who you get. In fact, if I remember correctly, it's so random that if you go to those other shrines right now, I don't think they're there. So it's just random what you get. So let's go ahead and head over to the Bronze Dragon Shrine. And it's time for us to confront Murazond, who you can see off in the distance. Ah, that's a big old infinite dragon. Probably the first big infinite dragon we've seen in a while.
I once called this place. I had not seen by then. I did not know. You hope to what? Stop me here? Change the fate I worked so tirelessly to weave?
That's very specific of you. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and take you on. But first, taking on your minions.
All unwitting like a blind, writhing worm towards endless madness and despair. I have witnessed the true end time. This is a blessing you simply cannot comprehend.
Okay, so there's a little bit of a spoiler in his description, so we'll go ahead and take care of Murazond now. This is the big guy. This is the Lord of the Infinite Dragonflight. So once we take care of him, the Infinite Dragonflight shouldn't be a real threat to us anymore.
You know not what you have done. I cannot follow you any further, accept my blessing, and use the Hourglass of Time to defeat Murazond.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go over the lore really quick, and I'll explain in a second. I think we will get access to Nozdormu. Oh, actually, first of all, we need to grab the chest here, which is the Temporal Cache. And nothing for us. That sucks. Because now we're on personal loot. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk to Allurmi really quick. Nozdormu is acting with haste. This is something that Nozdormu does not usually do. Normally, I would be more thorough with my archival. However, given the circumstances, we are forced to pick and choose what we record, and to employ the help of mercenaries like you. Okay. Allurmi collects the vessels from you. I will handle these from here, of course. These must be properly labeled, documented, and stored.
Farewell.
Now, originally you would actually meet Nozdormu out here, and you'd be able to continue in the quest. I don't think the quest continues anymore, so you just got to go out to this time transit device to turn this in to Nozdormu. So we're going to go to the entryway of time, and here he is.
Do not confine yourself to linear thinking.
Murazond is no more. The time ways are open to me once again. So before I grab this, let's go ahead and go over the lore of Murazond so we can go over the spoiler. Now living outside of time, Murazond was once the great dragon aspect Nozdormu, the Timeless One. After the Titans showed him his own death, the tormented Nozdormu was tricked by the old gods into trying to subvert his mortality. As a result, Nozdormu shattered the time ways and created the infinite dragonflight, jeopardizing the very future of Azeroth. So that's the big reveal, is that we actually find out that the old gods didn't just manipulate Deathwing, they kind of manipulated Malygos, but in a weird way. And they've also manipulated Nozdormu. So the threat that we've been facing from the Infinite Dragonflight was Nozdormu. He just renamed himself Murazond and sent out his Infinite Dragonflight to try and stop us. And you actually would get like this big speech of him going, oh yeah, the cycle just will repeat itself, this isn't good. Nozdormu basically accepts his fate that he will eventually become Murazond. And that's sad, but it's definitely something that's going to happen to him. Let's go ahead and take on the next quest.
In time, all things
The other problem, too, is that this is a little bit of a hiccup in the lore, and I've already seen a lot of people try to explain this, and it doesn't really make sense. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell people in advance. Don't worry about it. In fact, I'll probably link in the description a video that Novel did about time travel in World of Warcraft, just so that you can kind of sit there and go, wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, I'm not going to let this give me a headache, kind of thing. So the next quest that we have is the Well of Eternity. We must move quickly before any remaining infinite agents intervene. Time is precious. I will now take you from your distant future into your distant past, the War of the Ancients. Our goal is the Dragon Soul, an artifact of immense power, enough power to break Deathwing and end his reign over your present.
Time is a tangled web.
Now,
Try not to dwell.
the way that this originally worked is that Nozdormu would then transport you to the next one because they wanted you to literally daisy chain into the others, kind of like how the Frozen Halls worked in Icecrown, but it doesn't really work that way anymore, and that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. So when we come back, it's time for us to go from the distant future to the distant past as we go into the War of the Ancients itself, as we also witness the destruction of the Well of Eternity. We'll see you then.